Welcome back to Small Caps. My name is Kerry Stevenson. And today, going back to one of my favorite subjects, gold. This time I'm speaking with Christopher Gerteisen. He is the Executive Director and CEO of Nova Minerals. The ASX code is NVA. These guys have been very busy up in Alaska, so I'm really delighted to have you on the program today, Christopher. Good to see you. Hey, mate, looks like you're in lovely summer. Looks gorgeous. Where are you?
I like that summertime in Alaska. I'm actually at home. I don't get to spend much time at home these days, but beautiful weather today, 27 degrees, got to spend a bit of time with the kids. So it's been great. This is about as good as it gets in Alaska. So this is right here.
I never knew Alaska got that warm because it's bloody cold down here in Australia at the moment.
Not often, but occasionally.
And we're going to talk about a lot of things today. And as I said to everyone watching, this is Nova Minerals, ASX code NVA. Christopher, you've had some good results coming out of the Korbel Main. But before we get into that, for those that don't know, can you give us a very brief overview of who are Nova Minerals?
All right, Nova Minerals, our flagship is the Estelle Gold Project here in Alaska. To date, we have defined a 4.7 million ounce resource, and that resource was released earlier this year. Since that time, we've been drilling nonstop, and as you've seen from these most recent results, things are, that's 4.7 million ounces is only one small step to much larger things and ambitions. We're on the fast track to production here.
When you say fast track to production, you know, because I always love the word production because that means cash flow and that means time. You're not just exploring, you're actually in production. Are we talking, have you got a timeline on that one at all, Christopher?
Right. So our timeline is in that 2020. We'd like to be digging up the first dirt and pouring the first gold by 2025. That's our objective. That's our target. Certainly ambitious, but with all the things that we're doing, we're at this rate, we think we're on track to be able to reach that target. Okay,
so I understand that you had a scoping study coming out in July. Where are you at with that? Because that's a big deal to have a look at the economics and how this will go forward.
That's right. And so that scoping study is more or less, is pretty much complete, 90% complete.
Okay.
And so what we've done that we released in our latest news release, where we also released some pretty incredible drill results, is that the engineers have come back to us and have asked for an extension. Now, the reason for that is due to these drill results that we've had so far this year. We've been infill drilling there, Kerry, and in this last news release and the previous news release, there's a number of holes now coming back that are located right in the guts of the starter pit, the early stage pits of the production scenario, which are coming back with 60, 70, 100 meters at over a gram, and internal to that, 30 meters at 2 grams, and these type of grades. This is very, very material, hugely material to the bottom line. It's hugely material to the payback period. It's hugely material to the production profile, especially in those early years, which of course then flows through.
Sorry, Chris, I've got to interrupt you. Why is it hugely material? Because it doesn't sound like, because I often say grade is king, and sometimes people come out and say 60 grams per ton, and you're like, wow. You're saying we've come back with 60, 70, 80 meters at 1 gram per ton. Why is that hugely material to the bottom line?
Okay, so our current resource, we have 500 million tons at an average grade of 0.3, right? 0.3. And so with these type of grades that we're seeing now in very broad zones over a gram, 100 meter plus thickness, if we can increase the average grade of the resource by only 0.05 or 0.1 gram per ton, what that translates to with 500 million ton resource is a million and a half extra ounces in the resource. And so you can see at these average grades that we're dealing with, when you have large broad zones at a gram per ton, then you're looking at increasing the average grade of the overall resource, which increases ultimately the amount of ounces that you'll produce. Now, those ounces, as I said, these are in the early stage, the starter pit, this zone that we're defining now with the infill drilling. And so that's early stage production, huge impact on the NPV and these other economics, payback period and such. And so that's the issue with releasing a scoping study now that the engineers have asked for an extension, saying, look, this is hugely material. Do you want to release a scoping study that is obsolete on day one or obsolete already right now? We would like, and we advise you strongly to incorporate these results in any scoping study that you release. And so and that's what I'm discussing that with the board now this week. And that's what it looks like we will be doing. And it's not very long off. The fundamentals haven't changed. In fact, they've improved with these type of results. And this is what we've released, the drill core, that other infill holes that we've drilled. We're observing the same type of structures there. Remember, our drilling initially that from last year was 500 meter space drill pads. Now we're going into 100 meter space lines. And so what we're doing is we're intersecting these higher grade blowout zones. When you look at the core, very dense veining in there. And so we're seeing more of that material in the drill core that we don't have the results for back yet. The results aren't back yet. So we expect more of this. So we've already released some of the results. As the more of these holes come in, we expect more of that to be released. And so you can see how material this is. And that's why we are looking at an extension. We're only talking until then. We need to resource model it a few months. We expect to have another resource update from Corbel later this year to incorporate all these results. And that's when we plan to continue with the scoping study.
So are you suggesting that the scoping study, instead of coming out in July, because, the market looks at things like this and goes, oh, how come that's not come out? Because that's when it was coming out. Are you suggesting it'll be towards the end of the year now?
That's right, closer to the end of the year, Q4.
Okay.
I'm suggesting that. That's correct. That's when the resource model we want to deliver on the resource model, incorporating all this drilling we've done this year. And so once that resource model is complete, we'll feed that in the scoping study. Now the scoping study, the background, metallurgical test work, flow sheet, process design, all these things are done. So we have this template, and it's more once we have the new resource model, it's plug and chug, right? The scoping study will be released pretty shortly after that, I would expect.
Look, Christopher, we're going through, it's a crazy time, isn't it, at the moment, with the dreaded C word. Are you guys up in Alaska? Are you having any challenges with getting the drill results back, getting rigs on site? Any challenge? How is COVID impacting, if at all, on the operation?
So COVID hasn't really impacted Nova and everything we're in control of. So it's been full steam ahead there. To date, 2021 to date, we've drilled over 30 holes, over 15,000 meters now. And so we're just, we've been drilling, no problem. Now, other companies, in particular, the assay lab, and I know, it's a story and it gets old, but it's just been very frustrating with these commercial assay labs. Last year, we dealt with the same issue, 4 to 5 months to get results back. 4 to 5 months. That's right, I said that. And now we're, they said they would have improvements, but we're still looking at 2 months now. Wow. These results that we just released, those have been 2 months in the making since we sent them to the lab. Wow. So, yes, supply chains are disrupted and breaking down in the United States. I'm not sure about Australia, but being in Alaska anyway, so far from some of the sources of these materials. To alleviate the commercial prep labs and the commercial assay lab turnarounds, of course, we have built an on-site prep lab. So again, everything we're in control of, we've built it. It's built, it's ready to go, it's all fitted out, but the electrical hookup is what's lagging. And so to the electrical equipment that we need to get it running is what we're waiting on. And so that's been 2 months since we've ordered that. And so when I come on to these interviews and I give dates, that's real time, the best information we have at the moment. I know it's very frustrating for shareholders when the timelines go out, but I can assure you the fundamentals on these things have not changed. It's timelines that are unfortunately getting pushed out in many instances beyond our control. So the plan, we're sticking to the plan, and the plan is moving forward. Just certain items just pushing forward in the timeline, but we will still deliver as we said. So milestones the same, just the timing of these milestones change with the current environment.
Okay, so what I want to know, and as I'm sure some of our listeners out there, what the on-site prep lab, why have you done that? And you don't have the electrical hookup, but why have you done the on-site prep lab? What's the benefit to the company to do that?
Two main reasons. One, when we drill, of course, our samples are 3-meter intervals. And so we're drilling HQ core. We do the logging, then we cut that in half. So one sample, one of our samples to represent 3 meters is, this is running at 30 kilos per sample. 30 kilos per sample. We're drilling, imagine that, 15,000 meters divided by 3. So 5,000 samples at 30 kilos a sample. The freight cost for that is just, astronomical. It takes time and, multiple airplanes. And of course, that all costs money. So to reduce the freight with the on-site prep lab, we will be reducing the sample size from 30 kilos down to 250 grams.
Oh, wow.
And right down to 250 grams. So you can see how much more efficient that is in terms of freight, right? So you can do thousands of meters now of drilling with one plane. And so the other thing
Christopher, where do you then freight them to? Where do you send them off to?
Right. So that's the second point, the second reason. So currently they get flown out to Palmer or Willow here, where our base of operations is, and then we sort them all out, and then we put them on a truck and we truck them up to Fairbanks to the ALS prep lab in Fairbanks. They do their thing there, and so that whole part. So they do their thing there, and then they send the samples for analysis to Reno or Vancouver.
Oh, wow.
And so that whole leg of the journey, going from site to here where I am, and then to Fairbanks, that's all cut out, right, with the on-site prep lab. We do all that prep work ourselves. So now we'll go from 30 kilos to 250 grams. Then they'll be flown directly to Anchorage, where ALS has now set up a sample depot. We drop them off at ALS there. They take them down to Reno from there. So you cut out that all the logistical nightmare there going, to Fairbanks. They go straight to the prep lab. The fact that they're 250 grams means there's no prep required there. They dump them straight into the pulverizer and then off to the fire assay and analysis. So improved turnaround times and cost savings. Those are the two main reasons to really sum it up.
Okay, that makes sense. So when is this electrical hookup going to happen? Have you got an idea of that?
Right. So the electrician is supposed to be on site this week, right? So this week, I know I'm putting out a date there, but he's gone to site now this week. And so I expect with hook it up, commissioning, run a few QA, QC samples. I expect by early August, we could have this prep lab finally up and running. Let's call it early to mid-August, finally have this up and running, this prep lab. And
that will mean turnaround times change. And yeah, as you said before, 30 kilos down to 250 grams, you can send a lot more out and get it done a lot quicker. So let's just talk about where you're at for those people that are shareholders. I'm a shareholder out there. What are you doing in terms of drilling? Where's the cash at? And, I just want to understand a little bit about the market's not seeing Nova at the moment. It's, the share price I'll be honest with you, the share price is pretty weak at the moment. So what's going on? I was expecting it to be a lot stronger. You've got a 4.7 million ounce resource that you've announced. You're expecting that to grow. This is a bulk tonnage operation. You're getting the on-site prep lab all sorted. It feels like things are moving in the right direction, but the market just doesn't quite believe it. What's going on, Christopher? What's your view?
Right. It's been a tough market. Just can't catch a bid now. Which is a bit surprising for us. It's frustrating for us as well. With all the good news that's come out, flow sheets, the flow sheet's been determined that we can how we process and optimize the recoveries of our ore type. We've had news releases. This one just came out yesterday, and the previous with these just spectacular results. That are going to real game changing results. We've started drilling at RPM. now. That's good news. So based on this type of news flow, we would expect the share price to go up. The fundamentals have not changed. Good time to buy it. That's what I can say about that. Because perhaps because some of these timelines are shifting out, people are not happy with that. And I can understand that, but I can assure you again, those milestones will be reached. But in these trying times, things are getting pushed out for reasons beyond our control, as we already explained. So we have the rigs drilling. We're doing infill drilling at Corbel, really hitting that hard. And this will prove up the resources. And you've already seen the results of some of that. And those will continue as the results come in, as we hit more of these blowout zones. That'll prove up the resources to indicated. So this next resource update being on 100-meter space lines now, we expect some indicated in there, a good portion to be indicated finally. The other drilling we're doing is we're stepping out at Corbel, both to the southeast and to the northwest. Our deposit, the Korbel Main deposit, is currently 1.8 kilometers in strike. To the northwest, that's right. To the northwest, we've stepped out 500 meters with pad 7. That drilling is now complete. Those holes on pad 7 and being logged and will be sent off to the assay lab. So one of those holes looks very good actually. And if those results look good, that'll extend the strike of the deposit 500 meters to the northwest. To the south, we've just started drilling pad 10. That's a 500-meter step out to the southeast. So if I haven't seen those rocks yet, we've just started drilling the first hole there this week. And so if that comes to fruition, that'll extend it another 500 meters to the south. So we could potentially, by the next resource update, have extended the deposit 1,000 kilometers, 500 meters each side, 1,000 meters, of strike length added onto the curve.
That's right. 1,000 kilometers. I was going.
I wish. 1,000 meters. Sorry.
That's Corbel. Where is RPM in relation to that?
So RPM sits 20 miles along mineralized strike due south. I say mineralized strike because that distance between Corbel and RPM, it's a mineralized intrusive corridor in there. And so this is where 15 other known prospects that we have at the Estelle Gold Project here in the district are located in between RPM and Corbel. When you fly over that area as well, you look down, there's numerous unnamed just screaming color anomalies, not much vegetation there. You can see it from the air. And so that whole area there, we're really unlocking a district here. But the teams to advance some of those other prospects in between Corbel and RPM, the recon geology team is mobilizing in August to start to get these other prospects, the next cab off the rank. After RPM, we're looking at some of the names you've seen in news in years past: Shoe Shine, the Stony Vein, T5, the Train prospect, and some of these unnamed ones. We're going to go down there and get some more prospects because we're really trying to develop a pipeline of prospects so that we have that central operating mine there at Corbel, and through the years, you can feed different deposits into Corbel. Decades long mine life on these type of intrusive related gold systems, especially when you're on a district scale type of play like we are here. But RPM to the south. So we're running out of time, Christopher. Right. So can I just touch RPM? We have we're following up historic drilling there, 120 meters at over a gram, plus rock chip sampling we did there at the end of last year. 9 to 10 ounces per ton in those rock chips. That's what we're following up at RPM. We've drilled the first 3 holes. We have there's a total of 11 or 12 holes in that program. The RPM hole 1 through 3 are going to the lab this week, and so those results will be coming out in the months ahead as well. Very exciting. This adds some serious depth to the Estelle Gold Project as we open up a second resource deposit, and it looks like what we're seeing there at RPM, it's going to add significantly to the overall global resource inventory at the Estelle Gold Project.
Christopher, you said in a couple of months' time, can't you get these people to just hurry up?
Well, if we have our on-site prep lab, we're hoping to alleviate these turnaround times. It's frustrating.
Right, well, keep us posted. As soon as that on-site prep lab goes live, send me a little note and I'll pop something up on Twitter about it, because
there'll be a news release on that for sure once that happens.
That's a game changer. I've got one last question before I go into a wrap-up summary. You said just before you're unlocking the district, Christopher, do you think one of the majors is going to come along and say, "Oh, this looks really good. You've unlocked a massive area"? Do you think that there might be a target on your back?
They would certainly be sniffing around. The reserves and resources of the majors has just dwindled. They usually want to have 10 years of reserves ahead of them, and these are dwindling at a very rapid pace. And so a project the size of Estelle, when you're talking now 4.7 million, the next resource update to increase that substantially, we believe. And at Corbel alone, these are massive systems. 10 million plus ounce deposits, not uncommon in our neighborhood. This is exactly the type of projects that the majors are looking for. So, I don't know exactly what they're thinking, but we've certainly we know some of these guys, and they're certainly they got an eye. And as we progress with some of these resource updates and studies, they'll start taking an even keener focus, start honing in on us. I believe so.
All right, Christopher, the way I like to wrap up is give us 3 reasons. The share price has been waning a little bit in recent times. 3 reasons why my investor audience should be looking at the ASX code NVA right now.
Right. So 4.7 million ounces, one small step. This year, we'll be coming out with another resource update, one small step to something much, much larger. That's at Corbel alone. So that's short-term gain. That's at Corbel alone. Now, with RPM coming online, we want to release a maiden resource based on the drilling there as well. And so that'll be a second resource deposit. It's a district play, multiple prospects. We'll be advancing 2 as the years progress. Alaska as a jurisdiction, with all the turmoil in the world, jurisdiction, sovereign risk is very important. As a jurisdiction, always in the top tier of favorable mining jurisdictions. Also, in terms of permitting and operating a mine, pro-development, pro-mining, resource economy. We're on state land. Our tenure is very secure when it comes to permitting. We don't have to deal with a lot of federal land, or we don't have to deal with any native corporation land, all on state land. And the state is very, very supportive of what we're doing out here. Need the jobs. And so those are some of the reasons. And in terms of the share price and investment opportunity in the short term, we believe we're very undervalued, especially as of late. We're stagnating, but with the news flow to come out, more of these results, a resource update, scoping study, all of these things we discussed today coming out here in the months to come, we believe there's a real opportunity there in terms of a re-rate.
Christopher Gerteisen, Executive Director and CEO of Nova Minerals. It's always a delight to talk to you. I love your enthusiasm. And as you said before, you're unlocking a whole district. This is a district play. There's lots of news flow to come. So, ladies and gentlemen, the ASX code is NVA. A great time to have a look. Christopher Gerteisen, thanks for joining me on Small Caps today. And don't forget to let me know when that prep lab gets live. Good luck with it all.
Absolutely. We want it better than anybody else. So absolutely, we'll do a news release on that. Thanks for having us, Carrie, and looking forward to the next update.
All right. Cheers.